Well. The Cowboys have a backup problem. Will Grier is currently the only backup on the team. But in order to see how we got here and possibly see where we're going, let's back up for a moment. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live, you can continue to help us to grow and push us out into the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already, please become a channel member. We have a lot of great things coming in the future. Now let's talk facts. So let's look at how we got here. We got here, in a sense, by choice. The Cowboys allowed Cooper Rush to go away in free agency. And I think one of the issues is I think the Cowboys wanted, once again, to get Cooper Rush back on the cheap. And Cooper Rush, I don't know, maybe I'm the only person that is so surprised by this, even though Cooper Rush himself said he was surprised. The Baltimore Ravens, they signed Cooper Rush as a backup? That part to me is insane. But again, it also shows you something. I don't know if the Cowboys were being as much cheap, but I think they were basically saying they didn't want Cooper Rush back because I think they pretty much saw the ceiling with Cooper Rush. But whatever the case may be, this isn't about Cooper Rush. Again, I'm glad Cooper Rush got his money. And a lot of people will say that a few years ago that Will Grier, who is actually the only backup right now, a lot of people argued that Will Grier actually beat out one Cooper Rush as the backup. And then there's the issue with Trey Lance. I reported this early on. The Cowboys had approached Trey Lance late in the season for a contract, and Trey Lance bet on himself. But we're going to circle the block on Trey Lance and come back because there's a very interesting story about one Trey Lance. Stephen Jones kind of let the cat out of the bag in a sense, saying that the Cowboys were probably going to be looking for a wide receiver in the draft. It says right here, we also know Dallas wants to use this NFL draft to grab what COO Stephen Jones has called a developmental quarterback. And Fish broke the story of the Cowboys targeting University of Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers in that way. And I'll just be 100% honest with you. I am not a fan of one Quinn Ewers. I'm not interested. I mean, it's not my team, but I'm just saying I would not want Quinn Ewers here as the backup quarterback. I don't think he was that good at Texas. I really don't. I don't think he was that good at Texas. I think he was the weak link on a team that should have been a championship team, because we know in college, the one thing you get in college is a plethora of weapons around you. And he had one of the biggest weapons that people are predicting right now in the NFL draft. I think is Matthew Golden. No thank you on Quinn Ewers. So many questions about him. And, they're talking about Mike McCarthy is working with him. For me, it's a no-go, no thanks. And then there's another rumor. There is the rumor, and people are talking about this. I'm not going to give it much validity for this very reason. People are talking about this, and it says Dak Prescott Cowboys interested in trade for quarterback Joe Milton. New England Patriots backup quarterback Joe Milton III turned heads when he saw the field during the regular season and has since become a trade target for teams looking for a backup like the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'll just be honest with you. Man, I saw Joe Milton play last year in the preseason. This dude, Joe Milton, looked really good. He looked really good. But again, I think the New England Patriots would be crazy to trade this guy. If I'm the New England Patriots, no, I'm holding on to this guy because this guy to me this guy's good enough that if the starter goes down, maybe he could be the starter for the New England Patriots. I'm telling you, man, he's nice. He's nice. Showed a lot of flash, athleticism, arm. I mean, I'm telling you, if the New England Patriots trade him, I will be absolutely shocked. And again, I'm not giving this much validity. It's coming from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Says Jeremy Fowler believes New England Patriots quarterback Joe Milton III could be in play. I'm not really paying attention to it. until we get closer to the draft, and let's kind of see what is being talked about. But again, the Cowboys put themselves in this position on purpose. They didn't want to bring back they didn't want to bring back Cooper Rush. It's pretty obvious. And then they wanted to bring back Trey Lance. That didn't materialize. And then I think there is one more rumor as far as the college ranks go. The Cowboys also may be tied to one Jalen Milroe from the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I think Jalen Milroe, he looks like a pretty good developmental quarterback. If you're looking for that dual threat quarterback like Jalen Hurts, might be a little bit faster than Jalen Hurts. I got to do, if I'm not mistaken, I think Milroe's a little bit faster than Jalen Hurts. He got a bad rap kind of early on in his career at Alabama, but since then, he's looked pretty good too. But let me end with this. Should the Cowboys give Trey Lance another chance? Should the Cowboys give Trey Lance another chance? Because when you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, the Cowboys, to me, spent quite a bit of money for a backup quarterback. Trey Lance bet on himself. And for all intents and purposes, it looks like he's losing the bet. It doesn't seem like anyone is interested in Trey Lance. I'm telling you, this quarterback draft is very weak. And Trey Lance, I said this once, I'll say it again. I would take Trey Lance over a bunch of quarterbacks in this draft. I'll take Trey Lance over anything you're getting in the 5th and above, because that's probably where the Cowboys are drafting a quarterback. I don't think the Cowboys should actually be trying to get the Dak Prescott replacement until 2027. But I also think the Cowboys made a mistake in not signing one Jameis Winston to be the backup quarterback in Dallas this year. I think that Jameis Winston would have been a huge upgrade over Cooper Rush. Locker room wise and play wise, definitely think he's an upgrade over current Trey Lance. But again, he's went to the New York Giants, and I think he's going to be a mentor there to whatever quarterback they bring in. But again, there's an article over here on Athlon Sports by Tony Fisher. Cowboys signing Trey Lance would make sense for 3 reasons per insider. We've heard from the Cowboys that Trey Lance's Dallas career is more or less over, but upon review, why must it be? And you know what? For some people, this may not make sense, but it all depends on how you're looking at this. If the Cowboys are banking on Dak Prescott being healthy, well, bring back Trey Lance and let him continue to develop. But if the Cowboys don't think Dak Prescott is going to be healthy, which I think the former is true, because I think if they thought Dak Prescott was not going to be healthy, I think they would have got Jameis Winston, or they would have went and tried to get some other backup quarterback. Because even if you're going into the college ranks, it's telling us that you are banking on Dak Prescott being healthy, because there's no way you're going back in the 5th and the 6th and you're hoping to get a genie in a bottle again like you did with Dak Prescott in the 4th round, which Dak Prescott actually was not a 4th round quarterback. He was a 4th round quarterback, but Dak dropped in the draft because of an issue. I think it was a DUI issue in the draft. And a lot of people were actually predicting Dak Prescott to go at the bottom of the 2nd or somewhere in the 2nd. And a lot of people say now Dak Prescott probably would have been a bottom of the 1st pick. So let's not bank on the Cowboys going in the draft and getting a quarterback in the 5th or the 6th round that if Dak Prescott goes down, that quarterback is going to be able to lead the charge on this team. But again, I think if the Cowboys go in the draft, I think it's kind of telling us what they are banking on with Dak Prescott. But again, I think they're also saying they're banking on Dak Prescott because of what they didn't do with Jameis Winston. So why not bring back Trey Lance? Why not bring back Trey Lance? I think he's still going to be head and shoulders ahead of anyone you're going to get in the 5th or the 6th round. I do. And the upside. And let's look at the three reasons why they said that Trey Lance should maybe come back to the Cowboys. So, Fish offers up 3 thoughts on the matter. Late last year, Dallas actually made a contract extension offered to third stringer Lance. That means the Cowboys, even after having infamously traded that 4th-round pick to the 49ers to get a quarterback who pretty much never came out of mothballs here, that Dallas still likes him on some level. I agree. And he looked pretty good to me. The last game against the Washington Commanders, thought he looked pretty good. For what he lacked in quarterback knowledge versus Cooper Rush, he made up for in athleticism. I think Trey Lance just needs more reps, and that's the biggest issue with Trey Lance. He needs more reps. If I was the Cowboys, I'd bring Trey Lance back. I mean, I would at least think about it. I would think about bringing Trey Lance back. You've already put money into him. You've already put time into him. You seem to like him. Go ahead and bring him back. Reason number 2, maybe Lance turned that down in a bet on himself. Look at 2025 NFL free agency. But as we write this, he seemingly hasn't received any interest. Soon enough, he might need a job. Why not bet on himself in a return to Dallas to battle Greer for the number 2 job? I think this is something Trey Lance ought to consider. If the Cowboys are bringing him back now, the thing is, if he circles back around to the Cowboys, well, now the Cowboys are really going to get him on the cheap. They're going to get him for the minimum. But again, why not go back to the Cowboys? You already got a relationship there, and I think the Joneses would bring him back. And I'll be honest with you, for me, I just don't want the Cowboys to waste any draft capital over the next 2 seasons on a backup. No, you need to put a run game behind Dak Prescott, put a line in front of Dak Prescott, put some wideouts on both sides of Dak Prescott, and you keep him upright and let's go eat. 2027, go get the replacement. Because if you get the replacement this year, you'll find yourself in a Jordan Love situation. You won't even know what the quarterback is. And then it'll be the last year, and then you'll have to either say, okay, you're going to play on a 5th-year option. What if he doesn't want to play on a 5th-year option? Just like Jordan Love did. What if you only get 1 year to look at him? I would rather not even do none of those things. I would rather wait to 2027 and spend all of the resources in the draft, spend all of that on adding to this team, getting it younger, stronger, and faster, especially at the skill positions. And Jerry already said the draft capital is at a premium. This is why when I think about the thing they're talking about with the Milton kid from New England, I just don't know if that's going to actually happen, but we'll see. The third reason, at 24 years old, people do not understand how young this dude is. Trey Lance is only 24 years old. Lance's age means he can still be called developmental. Yeah. And at the right low price. His athleticism keeps his ceiling at a tempting level to gamble on. I agree. I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, he's been in the system. He's only going to be better. And I think Brian Schottenheimer, with the system that Brian Schottenheimer is going to run, I think he could do well in it. I do. I really think the Cowboys ought to think about bringing back one Trey Lance. But y'all tell me what you think. I know a lot of y'all. I know a lot of my Cowboy fans, man. They are not fans of one Trey Lance. But again, tell me what you think in the comments. Should the Cowboys give Trey Lance another chance? Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.